we're asking to keep the distance between vehicles a little bit farther away for safety and for visibility. Copy.
Well, I think if we really go to the very beginning of how this trip came about, myself and Patrick had been talking back and forth about the Expedition Overland series we were watching. Really kind of got inspired by those guys that a big trip is possible. You know, it's really not that far out of reach. Something like Utah, which they've done a couple videos on, looked cool, so we did a little more research, and from there it was just a matter of making sure we could all get the sites we wanted to get to see in.
There's just something about Moab and really all of southern Utah that is indescribable unless you see it in person. But anybody that I've ever talked to that's been wants to go back. It's kind of the only word I can describe it with is Mecca, because it just kind of calls to you.
So as far as the folks that came on the trip, unfortunately we weren't able to take all 6 Peach State Overland team members out there. Myself and Patrick and Kevin Keegan and Dan were the only ones able to make the trip. Freeman and Kevin Winsky were unfortunately not able to.
As we were going through planning, I realized, in my personal experience at least, that I frequently think I've got it all planned, and then I get out there and I forget a spoon or a fork or a spork. And I'm embarrassed because I have to carve out some chopsticks and eat with chopsticks, and it's not very easy to eat a mountain house with chopsticks. So this experience happened to me. Anyway, to try to avoid that and to share my experiences with the team, I decided, we should put together some sort of pre-Moab prep trip.
Hello.
Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up?
I am headed out. I just wanted to see how you're doing and how far you were.
The level of preparedness versus just taking, random car is totally different. The amount of gear you have to bring, the amount of supplies and preparation you have to do was a totally different task from that, so it's definitely unique.
We wanted to find a place that was relatively open that we could kind of spend a good half of a day at. So actually my uncle owned some property out west of Atlanta, and we got a great opportunity to go out there. It was actually awesome view, and we had a good night around the fire that night. So today we're getting ready for the Moab trip. Pretty excited about the trip. We are just testing our gear out. We just want to make sure we're prepared.
And one of the main things I was focused on that trip was the navigation. So during the prep trip, we kind of rerouted 2 days out of the trip and pulled out a few other things, and really had an opportunity to hone the track that we were going to be taking to make sure that the track was the best one for the journey.
We really got to see what gear, based on what gear we had, whether or not we would feel comfortable. We made sure that what we had was things that we thought we would use, and in my case, I actually forgot several important things, so I remembered to bring those on the big trip as a result.
We go through the list and say, what did we not use on this trip? And there's certainly things that are going to be on it. I did not use the gasoline. I did not use the extra 7 gallons of water. I did not end up needing the duty bags. But are you going to mark them off the list to not bring next time? No.
So this trip was actually a 11-day trip for Stephen and I, and then Kevin and Dan left a couple days later, and they basically caught up to us on the trail.
We were supposed to be headed to Zion National Park to camp and meet everybody there the next morning. Kevin and I kind of started talking on the drive out 40 towards Flagstaff about whether or not we really wanted to do Zion, or did we want to surprise Patrick and Stephen and show up in Vegas. And so we began to kind of think about the idea of driving kind of around the bend and down into the valley at night. And it didn't disappoint at all. Such a cool experience to hit the strip, and there's neon and lights and basically a big party all around you.
We surprised everybody with a little selfie that we took in front of the Bellagio fountains. and we ended up meeting up, farther down the strip. Hung out for a couple hours after that, went to bed.
So the next morning, we packed up our hotel rooms, checked out.
So with everybody being tired, I think everybody wanted to sleep in that morning. When you have a trip that it's as tight as it was as far as scheduling goes, it kind of, it's like an accordion. We pushed here, so it had to give somewhere else. Where we ended up having to give was Zion. We ended up leaving like 1 o'clock or something like that from Vegas. Met at the north side of Vegas, got some coffee, got some groceries, and fixed a little issue with one of our fuel tanks that we hadn't purged properly.
We've learned that it's very important to vent your rotopacks, otherwise they burst. Follow directions.
I think it's pretty amazing that we all made it out here. I've been to Vegas numerous times. Most of it's business, but this time, friends, it's a vacation. We're gonna get to see some really cool stuff.
So it was a really exciting time because it was finally all 4 of us getting to drive together, and we headed up to Zion.
Officially in Utah.
Woo!
We pulled into Zion probably about 5:30 local time. It's a phenomenal restaurant there that is also a little brew pub.
So it was nice, kind of all of us getting together, being able to relax, review the trip ahead, and really just, we're all so excited.
But probably the best part about the restaurant and kind of just relaxing there was the view that we had from the patio of that restaurant was really cool.
So eventually we wrap up there. Dan had some issues with or had forgotten to pack warm enough sleeping bags, so he had to go pick some up.
And now we wait.
There he is.
Yeah.
But he's pulling back up.
Here. Oh, he's here. I'm gonna take out my door.
He's gonna run me over.
See, his headlights are so much better than mine.
Yeah.
Dan, did you get what you were looking for?
Yeah, we did.
All right.
Got it.
Cool.
All right.
Let's go.
Good, let's go.
This was the entry gate, kind of into the national park of Zion. So, and right there at the gate, there were some deer right there on our left-hand side. It was starting to get darker, so that was kind of neat to see some nature, some animals out there. And I just remember we couldn't see a lot driving up through the park because it was getting so dark, but it really looked unreal. That just the stuff you could see off the side of the road, the plant life. I remember telling Jamie, I was like, this really almost looks like a movie set or something. It looks like someone placed all these things here. It really it was so different looking, so foreign from what I'm used to seeing.
We pulled into the campground a good 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night, and there was still ice on the ground. It was really cold. And there was about 4 or 5 camping spots open, so we basically filled them up, which was perfect that there was space for us. So we get set up and we call it a night.
We made a game, kind of a game day decision that night. Bryce Canyon is renowned for, it has a sunrise point and a sunset point on one of the main cathedrals there. And Patrick and I discussed, we're the ones that were videotaping this thing. Let's make an effort to get up really early. I think we woke up at 5:45 was the scheduled time, and walked out to the point there. I think Jamie and Steven joined us and got a lot of footage of the sunrise, and it was just fantastic.
One of the most beautiful things I think I've seen. I mean, we hadn't seen it in the daylight, so we didn't even know what to expect. It was just all dark in the valley. You could see the spires and they look cool in the dark. And then as the sun comes up, they just illuminate in this beautiful array of colors, all sorts of different tones of reds. And you start to realize there's actually snow down there.
What are we doing?
We're making breakfast. Just trying to get some coffee inside of us so we can continue with our day. Get some food. Not really sure what else we're going to eat here, but we'll have to figure that out.
So from there, we headed back to camp, packed up camp. It was only me, Jamie, Patrick, and Keegan out there looking at the sunrise, so the others in the group hadn't had a chance to see it yet.
I accidentally erased one of my memory cards,
Oh, yeah?
but I'm not sure what's on it. I think it was one from before the trip, so fingers crossed. We'll
Nice.
see if I got everything. Yeah, and I think what I'm about to do is make some coffee and then just eat some toast and a banana or something.
Okay, so whether it's good or bad, somebody will let me know.
Cool.
And be a little quicker today so we can get on the road.
I'm definitely adjusting to the new truck. The old truck had a lot of advantages to it when it came to packing up. Thank you. So climbing up and around on this thing is definitely proven to be a little bit of a challenge.
So sleep was good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, sleep was excellent. I was so tired I could have slept on top of a mountain with nothing underneath me. Long drive yesterday. Looking forward to getting to enjoy some of the Utah scenery today. What about you, man?
Yeah.
Looking forward to that?
Yeah. And also the snow is awesome.
Yep.
That's probably my favorite part of the trip so far. Well, it might be.
We decided to pack our gear up after breakfast, and we went to Sunset Point, where there's an overlook and there's a few hiking trails. We all met up there, got out, explored the Navajo Loop Trail, which was fantastic.
Yeah, so that's what you saw over there.
I've never been a big fan of selfie sticks, but Steven's a huge fan of selfie sticks. I'm pretty sure every time I looked at Steven, he had his phone on his selfie stick and was videotaping something. Sometimes he was videotaping me. Or sometimes he was just alone, walking with his selfie stick.
I'm selfieing your selfie.
That could be dangerous.
So we hit a couple of small towns on the way over to Capitol Reef.
One of the places that we stopped was Escalante. We stopped a little, I guess it looked like it would have been a drive-in, but it wasn't a drive-in anymore. You walk up, you order. They had an item on the menu called the Adventure Burger.
I ordered the Adventure Burger just for you. It's gonna be $24.75.
I'm not sure what kind of adventure he's talking about.
Will you also be getting the Adventure Burger?
No.
You know the marble
I don't
rock?
think
Well,
so.
that is a cool.
Why not?
I don't feel very adventurous right now.
I don't know. It was definitely a different adventure than I'm sure they made it out to be. But it ended up running its course rather quickly through Stephen. I did not order it. I ended up having adventure chicken tenders, which ended up having the same effect for me, unfortunately. By the time we get to the next town, the food had gone through us at that point, or at least activated an emergency response.
Can you comment on the bathroom situation?
Well, we've all gone, and we've pretty much demolished this little hut. Steven's in there right now. Oh, there he is. He's coming out. Out of the women's bathroom.
I'm for real gonna go in there. I'm just gonna hold my breath going in.
So,
Yes.
adventure be gone?
We'll see if we get into more adventure later tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what pose that is, dear. That backward bending dog. What are you doing?
Oh, it's hard to do with flip-flops. I tried. I'm no yoga maestro, or whatever you call them. All right, let's go.
And then from there, it was hit the road again. And we were really looking forward to hitting some dirt and kind of getting into the backcountry at that point.
We headed up to the Burr Trail. We got on Burr Trail Road, which ended up being paved a lot more than we had expected.
That sign means the dirt road starts at 75 miles.
So the Burr Trail was one of the 2 trails that we kind of built the whole trip around. However, when we got out to the Burr Trail, it was no longer a trail, it was more of a road. But the canyons around it still looked really, really cool.
Left LA for Amarillo to find a nice looking widow on the Georgia line. She was mighty fine. Now look out, now listen to the west. Hook out, study what's best, and I called her down. She was mighty fine.
I think we were starting to wonder when this pavement was going to end. I mean, we did our research, but obviously we didn't do our research well enough. I think I'd read that the Burr Trail had paved sections. We didn't anticipate anything like this. It was paved and paved and paved. We finally got to a point at Capitol Reef. You have the nice national park sign, and that's when it went to dirt.
There's our sign.
All night ride was full of nothing. That midnight rain was still muddy on.
Finally, that aha moment that we get to experience, driving on some packed dirt out there.
We know we're going to be on dirt for a good portion of that evening into camp and from camp up the next day. So we go ahead and stop to air down. Airing down typically takes a little bit of time, especially when you've got 4 different vehicles that you're airing down.
You airing down, Judy?
I already did.
In that car, she went that way. Couple of miles and drinking on a bed. This is creep gonna rise on me. Is this bird gonna fly beneath me? I don't know. Are you gonna come inside the
towards the end of that, we actually hit some switchbacks, which were awesome. That was kind of the beginning of the scenery for the week.
The highlight of the Burr Trail is easily the switchbacks. They're not nearly as high as the Schaefer Pass, but they are still, from what we're used to, a very interesting sight. With the video, I wanted to get out and shoot it myself, so I handed the wheel off to Ashley, and she doesn't drive the truck a lot, but seeing her drive up and down on the road, especially the switchbacks, because this is not, an easy drive as far as safety goes, it was very cool to see her. I was really proud. She just did it, because she had to drive all the way down with the group so we could get the footage. She had to drive all the way back and pick me up. She had to drive the switchbacks 3 times.
That was the Burr Trail. It had dirt. And it was awesome. Well, I had about, I don't know, a couple hundred yards of dirt. Be forewarned.
From there, we headed to our campsite, which was the Cedar Mesa campsite in the Water Pocket Fold. So to get there, we had some washboard roads, very similar to what me and Patrick had ridden earlier in the Mojave. So we were kind of comfortable going at a faster pace.
The roads were very washboard, so there was a lot of, kind of bouncing around, a lot of testing out the suspension really, and that was fantastic. That was fun.
And then we continued down the Water Pocket Fold, and we got to Cedar Mesa Campground. So Cedar Mesa, in my opinion, was the best part of the trip. We lost signal on our way in, and we didn't get another signal until we had driven another hour. So it's the most secluded that I think most of us have been ever, being out in Cedar Mesa.